So trips down to Sandwich Harbour and into the desert. So you can see these are the guys sitting on top of a sand dune here. And this is the desert. And this was actually one of the typical misty days. You can see as I was moving back, the mist was coming in and covering. So that's down at Sandwich Harbour, where you can do trips to go and see the fresh water coming into the sea, and again, sea life down there. Going further up the coast, we're on to Skeleton Coast. From pretty much Swakopmund up to the Angolan border is Skeleton Coast. Half of it is inside the national park, where you have to pay a fee. The southern half you can drive without paying park fees. And there's two access points from Skeleton Coast into Damaraland. One south of the gate, Ugab Gate, and one north of the Ugab Gate, going into different parts of Damaraland. Yes, from Skeleton Coast. The coast, why go to Skeleton Coast? Fishing is the main reason, but also just to see the amazing emptiness of the place. It really is. The roads of Skeleton Coast are made of salt, which is quite fascinating. There is very, very few people. There's Henties Bay, and then there's no towns along the entire coast until you get to Angola. And the other thing that people go to see is the bones of all the dead people, animals, and the shipwrecks along the coast as well. It's called Skeleton Coast because of the bones of the whales that have been washed up on the beach, but there is quite a few shipwrecks and old mining equipment that is decaying along the coast. But it gives you an idea of just the scale and vastness of the place. It is very, very desolate. And again, nice calm day if you want to go swimming in a wetsuit. The water up in the north of Skeleton Coast is colder than down in the south, so the current hits further up there. So it's average wintertime temperature for the water is 4 to 5 degrees. Okay, also along Skeleton Coast, and I've left the sound on for this for you, is the Cape Cross Seal Reserve. This is south of the Ugab Skeleton Coast Gate, so you can visit here without paying park fees for the Skeleton Coast, but you still have to pay a fee to come in and see the seals. I'm not sure if they're sheep or babies. And that was in the quiet season when there wasn't many calves around. It is so noisy, it also smells as well. But obviously a lot of people like to go and see it. It's the largest breeding reserve of Cape fur seals on the coast as well. And then obviously shipwrecks. This is a shipwreck that you can access very easily as well. It is just a few meters off the beach. It's quite a modern shipwreck. So you can actually go from Swakopmund, see the shipwreck, see the seal reserve, cut into Damaraland without paying the Skeleton Coast park fees, which is quite nice. And then you come into southern Damaraland from there. There is more shipwrecks further north, but very few of the shipwrecks are really accessible by a normal tourist without a 4x4. Normally they are in awkward areas and they're not that easy to find. So that's a quick purview of Skeleton Coast. So